commentated run slash submission, Octopath Traveler single story Octopath. I'll get into what that means in a second, but we start the round here with a guess from a character choice. So in 3, 2, 1, go. So, quick context on Octopath Traveler, what it is and everything like that. I bumped the mic, excuse me. Octopath Traveler is a 2018 JRPG made and released by Square for the Nintendo Switch, as well as now on PC and various other systems. I'm playing on Switch today. And rather than having one long narrative with interconnecting like all the other characters, the draw of Octopath is that it's 8 characters and 8 short stories about those characters. And for this category, we're only taking care of one of those stories, and that's going to be for Ophilia, the character we're playing as now. I'm going to get into some of the more nitty-gritty with the mechanics in just a second, because we're going to see one of them pop up right now. But it's just a neat game. I've played it like non-stop since I got it like a month ago, and I learned the speedrun for it like maybe a week or 2 ago. Or, well, that's not true, like 2-3 weeks ago, I guess now. That little menu option that you just saw right there is Ophilia's path action, which is guidance. Every player character in Octopath has what's known as a path action. So it's something unique to them that they can do, and it's how they can interact with the overworld and the NPCs around them. Ophilia's is guidance, and she can use it to recruit NPCs to fight alongside her when she uses the summon command in battle. Here, I'm just going to grab some gear real fast to buff her elemental attack, because she's a cleric. She's going to use light attacks all the time, like light-based attacks all the time, and that's going to be what kind of does it. So her elemental attack needs to be a lot higher than anything else. Here, we're getting into a random encounter. We're just going to skip out of this tutorial for combat, and we're going to break the enemy here and escape. I will explain all of these things that I'm talking about in just a second when we get to the boss fight. To explain the story of Octopath and what's going on for Ophilia, she is a cleric of... Oh, that's pretty bad. She is a cleric of Ulfric, I believe his name is. She's adopted by the priest in the city of Flamesgrace, and her sister Liana was gearing up to to go on a pilgrimage that happens once every 20 years to go to the other churches and enact what's known as the rekindling. Or the rekindling is the pilgrimage, but to kindle the flames and make sure that they still burn bright for God. Unfortunately, though, their dad gets sick, and Liana, that's really, really bad. And Liana is stricken with grief and doesn't know if she can do it, so Ophilia decides, I'm going to take up the mantle of Flame Bearer for you so that you can stay behind with Dad and make sure he's okay. So that's what we're doing right now. We're getting ready to get the flame so that we can continue on, so we can start her journey throughout the world. And to do that, obviously, you have to overcome some trial. And our trial is this, the Guardian of the First Flame, first boss of the run. All we're going to do here is we're going to summon, and we're going to good. So, the vulnerabilities that are popping up right there, that little green box, and the shield number that's going down here. The way that combat works in Octopath is, it is turn-based, but it also has a defense gauge, like a break gauge, and vulnerabilities. If you hit an enemy like that, with something that they're weak to, their gauge will go down. And when it does, when it hits 0, it gets break, it skips over their next turn completely, and they're much more susceptible to all forms of damage. So, so they'll break, lose a turn, and they'll take increased damage. The other thing that you noticed that I did earlier is those little oranges that are on top of the screen right now, just under Ophilia's name. I can expend those to do I can expend those to do extra damage or to do extra attacks in the round. So we're gonna take advantage of that quite a bit. Step 4, so let's apply 5-4 thing, or Holy Light spell. Shoot that off, and that's the end of the fight. That wasn't an ideal fight. Normally, if you're very, very lucky, you can get the Tavern Patron that I had recruited to use his Summon Winds ability multiple times. But unfortunately, we didn't get there. We didn't get enough damage, so money might be a little tight on this run, but we'll see. I should be okay though. But now we're done with Ophilia's first chapter, and we're gonna go on to recruit our next character. Really big thing about Octopath that I actually really like. You can pick any of the 8 characters to start with, to start your game with, and once you finish their first chapter, you're free to explore the entire world map, and you can go and get any of the other characters. For the most part, here, all we're really gonna do is we're only gonna grab 3 characters, and we're gonna get them in the order that they show up in, which is Octopath order. So, we're gonna go get 2 other characters. Cyrus and Tressa. Cyrus is super, super good because a lot of his abilities can hit multiple times, and for lowering break gauges, especially for the final boss fight, that's really important. Tressa has... it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true. Tressa has the power of capitalism on her side, and is kind of busted. So, she's going to be, for a little bit, actually no. Her and Cyrus are going to be our primary damage dealers when it comes to the actual boss fights that we do. But Ophilia is still going to be useful. We just have to get stuff to better supplement what she can do. One of the other things that you're seeing me do often a lot, remember how I brought up breaking cancels out turns for enemies? One of the other mechanics that it has is if you break an enemy in a wild encounter, and you hit flee, you're guaranteed a successful runaway. So we're going to be taking advantage of that a lot, just because it makes it a lot more consistent to escape random encounters. The only time I'm not going to do that is if I get a double battle. If I get a double, then like this, we're just going to try to flee right away. The way fleeing works in this game is... okay, that was really good. If you fail running away... each subsequent turn, your odds of escaping increase up until your 4th turn, where it is guaranteed you will escape. So, in an ideal world, we will always escape on first try, which sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. More reasonably, we're probably going to escape 3rd turn, sometimes on 4th turn, but it's like that. Welcome to running Octopath. We're grabbing Cyrus now, and immediately we're gonna get a use out of his path action, which is to scrutinize. If you go up to an NPC and you activate his path action, he'll ask them questions, and he can learn stuff about the world and like about the person that he's talking to, and that can lead to hidden benefits happening, like say a hidden item showing up in the world or new items appearing in the store. That one didn't happen right now, but just as an example, because it won't be I only have enough for 1 point of attack, so I'm gonna put that on Cyrus. grab this item here that we scrutinized earlier, and now we're gonna do Cyrus's chapter 1. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough money for a second pointed hat. We would have really liked that because that would make Ophilia a little bit stronger, but it's fine. We'll be fine. So, unlike the other encounters, that's really bad, dude. Holy crap. Unlike the other encounters in the overworld where we were running away, this time we're gonna want to fight 2 encounters. Because we need to give Cyrus a little bit more experience, and we need to get him some extra job points. I'll get into what the job points and the job system of this game is like in a little bit. But we got 1 encounter there. Ideally, we get another encounter that's like the sentry. If we get Mr. Bone, we're gonna be a little sad. Hey, I really want. So since Ophilia doesn't have enough damage, what I'm gonna do, and then we're gonna boost Cyrus, Ice Wind. Yep. He's at 10, which is just enough that we'll need. Grab that here, grab this Light Soul Stone, and we're actually gonna get use out of Soul Stones right away, in case you're wondering what those were, because I've already used that one. So this is Russell. Russell is a pretty easy fight for the most part. It's just, it can vary a lot depending on what him and his enemies do. These first 2 turns, we're gonna have Cyrus use fire. Okay, they bullied Cyrus, so Cyrus needs to get healed next turn. That's right. Summoning is good here. Ideally, we'll get another one. Cyrus is still safe for the most part. Because if Cyrus dies, it's perfect fight. Getting those 2 summon wins is really useful. So for Cyrus now, we're going to do a max power fireball, because this is the highest damage you can use right now. When it hat and quartz rod, both increases fire damage. And now we're going to use the light soul stone. Elementals and do an extra 400 damage. Russell has about like 3.1 thousand health. Not doing too bad in terms of damage. And now we're going to spam Ice Wind to get some fire damage in, as well as break gauge. We're going to summon the Tavern Patron one more time, hope for summon wins, attack time. One more time, and then from this point forward, we're only going to have him bop him with the staff. He should break next turn, should be good to go. Or he's going to break this turn, perfect. Now we're going to use a full power Holy Light, Fireball from Cyrus. Fine. Nothing. Should do it. If it doesn't, then we're like, maybe I turn it off. One more attack up to it. Break, and then a full power holding light. There we go. So the reason why that didn't work out well is because we didn't have the pointed hat, but, you know, for having to adapt to that, that was not that bad. Losing 2 seconds is totally fine. We just didn't have the item that we needed for it. I am gonna try to grab that pointed hat here, just because we do really need that for Ophilia, and it'll be good to have just because boosting that elemental attack is really useful. Actually, well, yeah, I'll grab it. It makes some stuff later more consistent. But we got 30 job points on everybody, and now it's time for the job system. So if you've never seen, like some of the older Final Fantasy games or anything like that, you might be very confused as to what I mean by a job system. Think of it as like a class system. The only difference is that rather than earning just overall experience points and everything like that to level up your character, you're also earning points that you can spend on your character's class so that you can make them stronger, like learn new skills, things like that. So we're going to be doing a small amount of grinding here so that we can try to get Cyrus to have over 100 job points. And this is going to be the only grinding that we do in the game. Good luck here. In an ideal world, we would have got an enemy called Kate, but that's like a 3% encounter, so we're not worried about it. It's not that bad if you don't get a Kate. You can still do a run. It's just a Kate makes everything a million. This route is written assuming that you don't get one. If you get one, you can just skip this segment. But here we are. So we're going to run into here, and the reason why we're going into the Whisperwoods here is because for where we're at, these are very high-level encounters, and we're going to take them out in one shot because of that medium soulstone that we got earlier. Soulstones do a fixed amount of damage. Okay, this is a really good encounter. Okay, perfect. Soulstones do a fixed amount of damage every time you use them. And depending on their element, they'll do a different element, like this one's the light, and depending on their size, they'll do more damage. So like a medium soulstone and an unbroken enemy will do, we might have to get one extra encounter. A medium soulstone on an unbroken enemy will do about 1100. On a broken enemy, it'll do 2200. And each different size has different set amounts of damage it will do. This is a very good encounter. Especially if we get Cyrus first. Perfect. We're gonna boost his Legend Blast. Hopefully that should be that's very, 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 very good. So now that we got 100 skill points, we're gonna go to learn skills. Cyrus is gonna learn Blizzard, which is gonna be used on the final fight of the game, and then we're gonna give him this ability, Evasive Maneuvers. One of the other things that Octopath Traveler has is passive or support skills. If a character learns enough skills in a certain job or class, they will get a passive ability that they can equip up to 4 of that helps out either them or the party in some way. Evasive Maneuvers decreases our chances of getting random encounters. And the way random encounters work in this game is it's on a step counter system, which is pretty standard for a lot of RPGs like this. Like a lot of the older Final Fantasies have it, like 6, 5, and 4. They all have step counter encounters, for example. But the way that I believe the way that Evasive Maneuvers works, and this is me purely speculating, is it increases our range on the step counter of steps that we need to take before we can get an encounter. Because once you hit a max number of steps, like 72 for example, then there is a chance that you can start to get encounters. We'll get more into some of the mechanics of the random encounters in this game in a little bit, but for right now, just know that the step counter is primarily how it's measured, and that's how it works. We will be able to manipulate it a little bit more later on, but for now, we just did some exploration. We went into an insanely high-level area, grabbed 20 grand, and we also grabbed... Actually, no, this is fine. Cyrus is first. Yeah, we're good. We're gonna use Blizzard here. Break things so we can consistently make our escape. And we're good to go. So, the things that we grabbed right now, we grabbed a large light soulstone, a medium light soulstone, a healing grape, which is just a standard healing item, which we're probably only going to need to use that way later. And now we're heading back to grab our third and final character for the run. And you might be wondering how I got through that level 45 area with no encounters. That's the power of evasive maneuvers. Because we have that ability, it makes exploration so much easier, because it makes it so that we can actually go into very dangerous areas, grab the treasures there, and then get out without getting an encounter. That's what lets us grab those items that we needed from there. There are still some instances where getting an encounter is unavoidable. And in those instances, we're just going to have to fight, break, and escape. There's going to be a handful of places where we're guaranteed an encounter. There's going to be some where it's a range on if we get an encounter. But some screens, the first encounter is always going to be one particular... Excuse me. It's going to be one particular thing. You also may have noticed that we ran into a town and didn't do anything with it. That's because we're just tagging it for fast travel. The thing that's nice about this game is that the fast travel system in this game is very, very, very good. Once you run into a city for the first time, you can fast travel to it immediately. So we can fast travel to Rippletide here, which is where we're at right now to get Tressa. You can fast travel to Atlas Dam, which is where we got Cyrus, and we can fast travel to Flames Grace, which is where we got Ophilia. We're going to be taking advantage of that to cut down a lot of our walking time throughout this game by tagging particular cities that are close to where we need to go. And it's going to make our backtracking a little bit easier, as well as make it a lot safer to get from city to city in the high-level areas. Because we are going to go to an endgame area, like, right away. Like, after we do this split, we're going to start making our way towards the city of Grandport to do even more endgame setup. Which, yes, it's only like 20 minutes in. We're doing endgame setup right now. So now we're coming into Mick and Mac. Casually, in my opinion, this is probably the most difficult of the early game boss fights, unless you start it, but we're about to make this fight completely easy by just one light soul stone, one large soul stone, and then we're going to use a medium soul stone right here, and the fight's over. Master text here. Get the split, and like that, we're back ahead. Not a problem. So now we're just going to skip through all of Tressa's cutscenes here. We're going to finish up her story, and then we're going on one really long walk to trace the route around what we're doing, that we're going to take. We are going to go from here in Rippletide all the way down to all the way out to Gold Shore, and then we're gonna tag Gold Shore, scrutinize someone there, and then we're gonna head all the way up to Grandport, which is an endgame area. If we were doing Tressa's story, that's the final location for her story. We're gonna go all the way out there, grab stuff that we need from there, fast travel back to Rippletide, and head to the western side of the map to grab a handful of items that we need, as well as some locations that we gotta grab, and get to Ophilia's Chapter 2. But since we've also tagged Goldshore already, we've already tagged Ophilia's Chapter 3, so we're all set for that. Now you might be wondering what exactly this cave is. So, littered throughout Octopath Traveler are job shrines, which you head into them, you talk to the statue that's here, and it'll give you access to that job for all of your characters. Each character can only have 2 jobs at a time, so there's the base one and then the secondary one that they can equip. So they can only equip 1 secondary at a time. We're going to be getting 3 job shrines here. We just got our first one, which is Warrior. It is very important that we grab that one. And then we're gonna go grab the one for the merchant up here. And then the final one that we're gonna get from the western side of the map is gonna be the Thief Shrine. And once we have those 3 shrines, our setup for the end game is pretty much done. We'll just have to buy some gear and learn some skills, and that's pretty much it. We're good to go. And really quick here, just for safety, I'm gonna grab the save point right here. Actually, I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm done. This is it. This is the end of the video. Well, no, I'm here. I may as well finish it. Let's just do it. So what happened, what I'm doing here, excuse my horrible joke. What's happening here is remember how I brought up that the wild encounters are done on a step counter? That is generally true. And there's not very much we can do about it, normally, if all we have is evasive maneuvers. But there is some stuff that we can do. We can reset the step counter by doing a handful of things. Anytime a cutscene triggers, like the fade to black happens, the step counter resets. Anytime you go back to the main menu and reload your save file, the step counter resets. Anytime you run into what would be a boss area, or like anything that has a dialogue box that says yes or no on it, the encounter rate resets. So we're going to take advantage of some of those. The only one we're not going to take advantage of is the dialogue box option. To manipulate our encounter rate so that we get pretty much no encounters most of the time. There's going to be a handful of instances where we're still going to get one. Like heading back out of this city here, there is a chance that we're going to get an encounter. But it's a range. It's a step range. We're going to scrutinize that guy for way, way, way later. And now we're going to scrutinize this guy across the bridge for something that's going to happen in the next, like, 20 minutes or so. Okay, first try is really good there. You might have noticed that there was a percentage chance there. So some path actions on some of the characters, I'm going to walk here just a second. There we go. Some of the path actions on the characters have a percent chance of success. And that's because the game just distincts them, or just the game labels them differently as rogues or nobles. Rogue characters like Cyrus, they can perform their path action on anybody at any time. They just have a percent chance of success. I'm just doing a save reload here to reset my encounter rate, so I can grab more items and get into the city. So all rogues have a percent chance to succeed in their action. If they fail too many times, we have to spend upwards of like 100 grand in some cases to restore our reputation, depending on what city that we're in, to ensure that we can do our path actions again. But noble characters like Ophilia and Tressa, I got Ophilia confused with Primrose, which very different characters. Noble characters like Ophilia and Tressa, they don't need to do that. They don't need a percent chance. They just have to hit a minimum level, and they can just do it. They just automatically succeed. The only exception to that rule is Tressa, because Tressa doesn't have a level requirement for anybody. As long as you have enough money for her path action, you can do it. We'll get into Tressa's path action in just a second. It's very simple, but we're going to see it right now, because we're going to fast travel back to Grandport here, and we're going to do light shopping trip here, and we're going to move on and head to the final job shrine after that, and move from there. Here, I'm just going to grab this bracelet here. I keep almost buying 2 off of that, and that's really bad, because if you do that, it's GG. We're going to head up here. And now we're going to use Tressa's path action of purchase. Pretty self-explanatory from that menu. You go into purchase to any like 10 PC you're talking to, and Tressa can buy the items that they have on hand for a set amount of money. And we're buying, since we're in the endgame area, there's a lot of endgame gear here. So we're gonna buy some very high level like healing items and things like that to ensure that we're gonna be safe throughout the run. We're also grabbing a handful of items that we're gonna sell for money later, as well as just a whole buttload of money. Like you'll see in the cave there, we got 30 grand. Here we just got 25, and then some items that we can sell for like upwards of like another 50 grand. Right there. The thing that's key is we need to make sure by the time we start our final dungeon, we need to have at least 88.2 thousand leaves on us. Leaves is the currency. But now that we've done that, we're gonna make our way towards the Thief Shrine. Counter, so we're just gonna try to yellow it. Because I can't break both of them consistently. There we go. So now we're going to make our way over to the Thief Shrine and grab that. But the shrines that we grabbed right now are the Warrior, the Merchant, and like I said, the final one is going to be the Thief. The Merchant is important because the Merchant class, which is what Tressa is going to be primarily how we deal damage. And again, that's through the power of capitalism. I'm going to leave that as a surprise because it is a very explosive amount of damage. And I want the theatrics to hit. So we grabbed a Warrior here for safety, and also because the Warrior job comes with the ability Spearhead, which when you use, it does spear damage, which every enemy we fight is going to be weak to spear in some way, barring the final boss. But the other effect that it has is it makes it so that the character that uses it goes first the next turn. And that's going to be very important for breaking some enemies later. It also gives us access to the ability Cover, which if an ally is at low enough health, anyone that has the Cover ability equipped will immediately intercept and take the damage for that character. And then finally, the Thief. The Thief we're grabbing because it has the ability Armor Corrosive, which is a defense, which is a stat debuff. It lowers physical defense. One of the other things about spending battle points, the little oranges above my name, you remember because you're an intelligent person, and that's what I respect about you. If you spend battle points on a debuff or a buff, rather than increase the effectiveness of it, it increases the duration. We're almost guaranteed to get an encounter here. Bad encounter, so we're just gonna see. Actually. Escape. This is a little bit slower, but I wanted to guarantee it. So you use battle points, it increases the duration of the debuff, and that's going to be very important because there are going to be some bosses that we fight where we really want that Armor Corrosive to last for the whole fight. Because we're not, besides getting some items to boost our health, we're not going to upgrade our equipment for pretty much the rest of the run. So it's going to be quite the experience. Because we're very much glass cannons. Anything so much as breathes on us right now, we immediately die. It's a bad time. But it's just like that. Part of the reason why I ran into here is because we really want that soulstone that I just grabbed right now, and it also helps break the excuse me, something on the throat. It helps break the step counter up, so that way we don't get an encounter when we go into the Thief Shrine. If I had made a misstep there, I probably still would have gotten an encounter. I've had it happen before. So we're gonna grab this shrine here. we're gonna travel back to Sunshade over here. Unfortunately, we're not gonna grab Primrose, my girl, my favorite, but that's okay. And now we're gonna make our way towards Ophilia's chapter 2. We have exactly one more screen where we can encounter a Kate, and if we don't, we are never going to see one for the rest of the run. Because one of the other things about Kates, they have a 3% chance of spawn, but they never show up in a story-based dungeon. And pretty much every dungeon we go into from here is only going to be for story. So, if we don't get a Kate here, we don't get one at all. We're not getting a Kate at all. This screen that we're on right now, the East Saintsbridge Traverse, the first encounter is guaranteed to always be a salamander and 2 bug crab things. I don't know what they're actually called. Okay, we didn't get the encounter at all, so that's actually really good. Now we're coming into Ophilia's chapter 2 here. Exit out of this tutorial here, start the chapter. Wait, there we go. I hit the wrong button. I have my split set to numpad 0, and I hit the period button. So Ophilia is in Saintsbridge, passes the fire on to ensure that it stays bright, and now she hears a commotion and it sounds like some kids fighting. She's gonna head out, see what's going on. Really quick though, we are going to stop and talk to this guy right here. I didn't use my ice soul stone, so I'm gonna ignore this shadow soul stone here and just grab a large one to save a little bit on the money that I missed out on earlier from the first boss fight. We're gonna head to this cutscene. And now, coming up after this is the scary part of the run. We have to scrutinize this guy right here. We have to scrutinize him because there's an item that we really need to buy in the store, and it only spawns once we talk to him. And he has a 30% chance success rate. But if we get it, okay, good, we're good. So now in the weapon store is an item that boosts our health by 500 points. And we really need that to ensure that we don't die later on. So once we finish up with Ophilia's story, we're gonna grab 6 of those items so that the full party can use it. But we're pretty much good for the rest of the run now. There's like the last shopping trip that we need to do, and we're not going to do it until after we finish this split here. I'm just going to skip a few cutscenes here. I believe the kid we're talking to right now, his name is Daryl. He was fighting with his friend who lost his locket, who had a picture of his mom. And we were just like, hey, I understand you're going through some stuff, but why don't you, like, just chill, breathe for a little bit. He didn't mean to lose it. He's still looking for it because he cares a lot about you. Why don't we go up and apologize to him together? And Daryl was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. That sounds nice. And then his friend is like, yo, the locket's in the woods. I'm gonna go get it. And Daryl's like, please no, please don't do that. Because there's a bunch of horrifying monsters in the woods. We got an encounter here. We're not going to try to run from this one. We're going to kill it. Extra experience and extra money. And speaking of extra money, we're going to run off this path over here. And head into the Mirkwood up here. So, Daryl runs into the woods to find his friend, and we're like, hold up. Let's protect these children. So, we're coming into the woods to make sure that they're okay. We are guaranteed to get another encounter here, and it's better if we just kill it using another soul stone to guarantee that we get some experience as well as some extra money, which is why I got all of the extra large soul stones that I got. We're gonna hope. Okay, we're good. The Mirkwood is one of those places where if it wants to kill you, it will just kill you. That's a lot of the places in Octopath, sadly. A lot of the time, you get hit with a surprise attack, especially in these mid to late game areas. Chances are good you're just gonna die. It's over. But we got lucky. We didn't get We didn't get ambushed, so we're all good. So now we're gonna assign some jobs. Ophilia is going to get the thief job and get armored corrosive. Cyrus is going to get hired help. We're going to do that in a second. Tress is also going to get hired help, and we're going to make her a warrior, and she's going to get the spearhead job. And then, before I forget to do this, we're going to give her the unhearing bracelet here. And we're going to go into the fight with a boss with a name that's very difficult for me to pronounce. I'm going to try my best to say it, but we'll see. Hortzvitnir, I think? I don't know, man. It's weird. So, with Ophilia, we're going to use Light here to get some damage in. Tressa's going to use Spearhead here to get first next turn. Okay. We equip that accessory on here to guarantee that she will hit. And Cyrus is going to use Lightning Blast, not we could have broken him here. It's very important that we don't do that. Tressa's going to Spear attacks here. Ophilia is going to use Armored Corrosive, and Cyrus is going to use a large Soul Stone. And now, Cyrus is going to select. We're going to get some extra 4 grand here. Light, cost 4. And Tressa is going to use Hired Help. And this is what Hired Help does. 28k in a single attack. We did 28,000 damage off of one character in a turn. That's why Merchant is our primary damage dealer. That's why Merchant is so busted. Cyrus is going to stay as the Merchant the entire time. Tressa starts as Merchant. We're going to pivot her to Thief for the final fight, and then Ophilia is going to become the Warrior for the final fight as well. But that's why Tressa is so strong, and why our equipment does not matter for, like, the entire run, is because we can just throw out 28k damage on a debuffed enemy pretty much as long as we have the money. The only thing with Hired Help is that the damage it deals is proportional to the money that you spend on it, and the highest tier of Hired Help is 30,000. So it's pretty expensive. Here we're going to grab the Charm Robe for Cyrus, and we're going to grab 6 Empowering Bracelets here. And we're going to throw those on everybody except for Tressa. She's only going to get 1 of those. And we're going to go into the healing menu here. Get everybody up to full. We're going to go to the world map now, and we're going to go straight into Ophilia's Chapter 3. Notes back up again. Unlocked. We're going to start Ophilia's Chapter 3. And this is pretty much it. From here, we have about, like, 15 minutes at most or so, I think. We have like 15 to 20 minutes for the rest of the run. And as you can see, we started out pretty far behind, and now we're actually not doing too bad in terms of making that time up. Here, remember the guy that we scrutinized on the bridge? He gave us important info for a quest. We're going to finish that quest, get an extra 11k right here. We're going to grab 4,500 right here. And then we're going to scrutinize this lady for an item that we're going to grab in a little bit. And then hidden right over here is an energized pomegranate. We're going to grab that. Pomegranates are really nice because you use them, your character immediately gains battle points proportional to the size. Large gives them 4, medium gives them 2, and a standard one gives 1. But now we're going to grab this item that we scrutinized off the lady at the top of the stairs. We're going to talk to this kid right here. Lots of kids involved in Ophilia's story. I'm not entirely sure why, but here we are. But it'd be like that. She's a very motherly figure. So we're going to have this kid guide us. We're going to take him back to send an apology to the priest here because he thinks he did something wrong, because he thinks he scared the priest. And we're going to find out that the priest is fine. It's just that his daughter's been kidnapped, and we gotta go save her. And I'm not gonna lie, the boss fight here is against mysterious figure, or shady figure and mystery man. Something like that. And I wasn't vibing with it, so I just called them Nightman and Dayman. Shoutouts to any Always Sunny fans out there. We're gonna grab that item we scrutinized off the old lady earlier, and remember when we scrutinized the old guy at the start right there? That's why we got the large thunderstone right there. We actually don't need to talk to that guy to progress the storyline, so we're gonna pass him. That's Matthias. He's a jerk. We don't like him. We're gonna head down here, and we're gonna go to the cave where the priest's daughter is, and we're gonna go save her, because we're just so pure at heart. We're good people. Okay, good. There is a chance you get an encounter there. If you do, you have to try to break it. But if you're very lucky, like I was, you won't get one. And then here, we're gonna grab the save point. That's at the midpoint of this dungeon. Save and reload. And then, we're gonna go on to the boss fight. And this is going to be where boosting armor corrosive becomes very important, because we need to boost armor corrosive by 1 and use it on Mystery Man to ensure that he still takes a bunch of damage from his higher health. And if we miss that, we can't finish the fight. I am going to grab this save point here just in case. If that happens. We're going to run it. Ah!
戦いの準備はできているよ。
どうする？
We're going to use higher health mercenary.
なかなか考えがいがある。給料分の仕事を頼むよ。
負けません。
We have to break here, and now we can escape.
負けません。
I am going to heal up Ophilia just to be extra cautious. And now we go into the boss fight. I've actually never gotten an encounter there before. That is interesting. Actually, no. So, here we go. Tressa, turn 1, is going to spearhead the Mystery Man. Ophilia is going to Armor Corrosive 2, and Cyrus is going to use a large combat. So, here. We're going to bump up Armor Corrosive. Use it on Mystery Man here. And then Tressa's going to spearhead. So let's do this first. Turn 2, she's going to spear ×4 the Mystery Man to break him. Cyrus is going to defend, and Ophilia is going to armor this guy. And then next turn, we can pretty much end the fight if everything goes right. Cyrus is going to use mercenary ×4. Get the break here. Ophilia is going to use a large soul stone. And then Tressa is going to use hired help mercenary. Kill Mystery Man, and then use large soul stone. Go. Get the split there. Not bad. So with that, Ophilia's chapter 3 is almost done. We just have to run back to the church, but before we do that, we're gonna grab this item here, which is another medium soul stone. And now we're gonna head up to the church, and we're gonna head into the end game. Something that is important to note remember, we didn't run into Ophilia's final Chapter 4 segment. Her final Chapter 4, or her final city. So we're going to have to walk there the long way. We are guaranteed to get an encounter. It is an endgame encounter, so it is very scary. If they attack us, we are probably going to die. But we can still break it, and we can still get an escape. And that's what we're going to be doing. But before we do that, I'm going to do something for safety. There is some safety money I can get, just to guarantee that I don't lose anything. We're going to head in here, Noble Court first. And we're going to scrutinize this guy. Oh, wow, it fails. It's an 84% chance of success, so there we go. And we're going to grab this here. We're going to head back to the entrance, and then we're going to do a menu. A very, very important menu. So here, we're going to give Tressa her empowering bracelet. We're going to give Ophilia the unerring bracelet here. As for jobs, Tressa is going to learn one more ability here for the warrior. We're going to make her the thief. She's going to learn corrosive. And then Ophilia is going to learn spearhead and 1,000 spears. We're going to go into their support abilities, and they're both going to get cover. I'm sure she doesn't know what she needs reflective. And now we're mostly set. We will have to do one more menu before the final fight to give Ophilia her empowering bracelet, which is something that I have forgotten to do. If we don't do that, Ophilia is guaranteed to die in the final fight, and then we can't finish it. So now we're going to run all the way over to Whisper Mill. There is one last gold item that we're going to grab from this chest down here. It's going to be Cat's Eye. It's our most valuable thing that we can get. And now we're going to head into the random encounter here, which will always be 2 drakes. At least I can look like drakes. Technically not drakes, but... we're going to use 1,000 spears here. Neither of these attacks are guaranteed to hit. Okay, we got 1 break. We got 2 breaks. That's really, really good. That, like, never happens. Oh my lord. Yeah, that never, ever happens. Very quickly, I'm going to switch out the empowering bracelet now. I'm going to heal everybody, and we're going to save here, just in case I get another encounter. Because it can happen. You can still get an encounter before you get into the city. And now we're here. We're starting the final chapter. We're all set up. I do still have to get some money. We need to hit an 88.2 minimum, 88.2k minimum in terms of our leaves. So we're gonna go here, grab this treasure chest, go to the store, sell all of the stuff that we got. We have just enough. Perfect. Huh. Normally, if we didn't have enough, it'd still be fine, because there is a 13,000 item that we can grab from the upcoming dungeon and sell that, but it still loses a little bit of time. But if you really need it, it's just a nice backup. So, now we're going to get some more plot real fast, and then we're going to move on to the final dungeon. Head up here. Go into the Ebony Grotto. We don't need to grab the save point here, because this room is short enough that we can make it to the next screen transition without getting an encounter. We will have to save in the next room. Here we go. We're going to run down here, up and around, and get to just before the final encounter. We're going to grab a save point, save and reload, and then we're going to go grab 30k from the bottom, and then we're going to go into the final fight. I am going to try to do the optimal strat for it, which is a 5 to 6 turn kill. There is a safe 6 turn kill, but optimal's faster because it's optimal. And as for Ophilia's magic, we're not going to worry about restoring that because when we level up, and we're guaranteed to level up here because we're so low level, when you level up, it restores all of your stats. So we are all going to grab that. We have one more encounter that we have to fight, which is going to be just before the boss. I'm going to walk it just to be extra safe. And this is mostly scripted. We have to break it with 2 hired help merchants.
あなたには負けません
We're going to hope that one of the merchants goes first.
頑張ります
That's really bad, so Ophilia's going to
させません
Okay, if one more uses the soul stone, we die. That's fine.
私の番お風に痛めはつけないわ
Okay, we're good. We're safe now.
どうで給料分の仕事を頼むよ
And so now we're just going to use 2 large soul stones, or if I don't have any more, a large soul stone and 2 moons. So we have just
受
enough.
けなさい
So a large soul stone, and then another large soul stone, and we're all good.
これでもどうぞ大した強さ
And now we're going into the final fight. As you can see, we're level 16. So we are much below level than what we're expected to be to finish this game. So the way this works out, turn 1, Ophilia is always going to defend, Cyrus is always going to use Blizzard, and then for Tressa, she's either going to pomegranate herself or a healing grape on the injured person. I'm going to try to use the pomegranate. She's going first, that's not ideal. We're going to need healing grape.
これは
さてどうしよ
Cyrus is going to use Blizzard
う
here.
狂乱よ巻き起これ
And Ophilia is going to defend so that she goes first next turn. Ooh, okay. That's actually fine because Ophilia is pretty guaranteed to break this here.
なかなか考えがいがある
Cyrus is going to large pomegranate on Tressa.
これでどう
行くよ
Tressa is going to armor corrosive.
なるほどだよ
Ophilia is going to use reflecting veil on herself so that she doesn't die next turn.
跳ね返します
Cyrus is going to use both Cyrus and Tressa are going to use higher veterans.
お風に痛めはつけないわ
And then next turn Ophilia is going to defend again.
どうだ集中していこう給料分の仕事を頼むよ
Cyrus is going to use Blizzard, and Tress is going to use a medium pomegranate. So normally, we would all die there, but we're set up, so we're all good. Ophilia is going to defend, so she goes first. Cyrus is going to, Tress is going to medium pomegranate with Cyrus.
これは
Cyrus is going to use the Blizzard here.
狂乱よ巻き起これ
行きます
There we go. And this should kill.
あーお風に痛めはつけないわ
集中していこう給料分の仕事を頼むよ
There we go. Time's not yet. Time is going to be after we skip the final cutscene, which is going to be 2. Oh my god, I did this in under an hour. Oh my god. Holy crap, that's a huge PB. And that's time right there. Oh. And with that, that is the single story run of Octopath Traveler Ophilia. Thank you for watching. If you like this and you want to learn the run yourself, I'd recommend going to the speedrun.com page for Octopath Traveler. There's a lot of great resources there. They also have a link to the wiki there, which has all the notes that I used on this run. Quick shout outs. Figure out once again. I'm so sorry. I swear I was prepared for this. I'm gonna pull this up. Hold on. I want to give the shout out for this route because oh my god. Quick shout out to Sanjan for this route, and yeah, thank you folks for watching.